Good afternoon, everyone. This occasion is a occasion that we enjoy here at Connecticut Hospice, even though it's a time that we kind of celebrate our loved ones that was here and has transitioned on. My name is Reverend Warren Godbold. I'm the Director of Spiritual Care here, Department of Connecticut Hospice. And one of the things I want to say to the viewers and the families is that let this service, the memorial service, be a time, if you didn't have an opportunity to have a funeral because of different things that's happening, COVID and different things that's happening in our lives, take this moment and time to be that moment in your loved one's life. You bow your heads with me in a word of prayer. Dear God, we thank you for this opportunity to come again to say thank you for the opportunity for spiritual care to actually be a part and on the same journey with everyone here that lost a loved one. We ask that you touch them in a mighty way and continue to lift up the families, give them strength as they go through this transition. Give them strength. We thank you now. Amen, amen, and amen.
Good afternoon. I'm Barbara Pierce, and I'm the CEO of the Connecticut Hospice, and I represent all of us, the staff and volunteers of the Connecticut Hospice, here today, virtually and in person, for our second annual virtual service of remembrance. We had to pivot last year in the midst of the pandemic, and this year we decided that we needed to do that again, but that's what we do. We figure it out. So here we are on an absolutely spectacular early fall day, which mirrors this service in that we're a little bit sad that summer's ending. We're full of memories for the summer just passed, and we're grateful, and we have joy for the day that we're in right now. And that's what this service is about. Every culture, every faith has rituals around dying. And we're no different than anybody else. And one of the hallmarks of the Connecticut Hospice year, after helping tens of thousands of patients and families over the last almost 50 years, is this annual service where we, along with you, get to remember those whom we've lost in this past year. We don't do this easily any more than you do. And people may ask, what resilience does it take to do this day after day? And I imagine that you would not be surprised to know that in our annual employee survey this week, the highest scores went to, I find meaning in my work, and I do the best I can every single day for my patients and their families. So this is what we do. And I want you to know that while you're watching this service, wherever you are, that we will be watching it with you. And when those pictures of loved ones come up, and when Hannah and her department play beautiful music, we will be crying also. And we also need the closure of a day like this. And we hope that wherever in your journey you are, that this day will bring you peace, some joy, and some wonderful memories. I want to thank especially the staff, the amazing staff of the Connecticut Hospice, and our incredible volunteers who put this service together, led by the incomparable Jeff Weber, back for a second time at this virtual service, and his team, and to say that this is a work of mission for most of us, and we're grateful and humbled and honored that the 1,500 families that we're honoring today chose us to help them through one of the toughest periods of their lives. So we hope that you will celebrate with us, grieve with us, and look back on today as a lovely memory. Thank you very much.
Sunset and evening star, and one clear call for me. And may there be no moaning of the bar when I put out to sea. When I put out to sea. When I put out to sea. May there be no moaning of the bar when I put out to sea. But such a tide as moving seems asleep, too full for sound and foam. When that which drew from out the boundless deep turns again home. Turns again home, turns again home. When that which drew from out the boundless deep turns again home. Twilight and evening bell, and after that the dark. May there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. When I embark. When I embark. May there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. Though from out our bourne of time and place the flood may bear me far, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar. When I have crossed the bar. When I have crossed the bar. I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar. When I have crossed the bar. When I have crossed the bar. I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar.
Perhaps love is like a resting place, a shelter from the storm. It exists to give you comfort. It is there to keep you warm. And in those times of trouble, when you are most alone, the memory of love will bring you home. Perhaps love is like a window, perhaps an open door. It invites you to come closer. It wants to show you more. And even if you lose yourself and don't know what to do, the memory of love will see you through.
Oh, love to some is like a cloud, to some as strong as steel.
For some a way of living, for some a way to feel. And some say love is holding on, and some say letting go. And some say love is everything, and some say they don't know. Perhaps love is like the ocean, full of conflict, full of pain. like a fire when it's cold outside, thunder when it rains. If I should live forever and all my dreams come true, my memories of love will be of you. My memories of love will be of you. My memories of love will be of you. My memories of love will be of you.
When I think of my husband, Mark, I think back to the day we met, how sure he was of himself. We met in high school. We were high school sweethearts. We started to date. A couple months later, when he asked me to his prom, he told me that we would be married someday and that our kids would be beautiful. And he was right. We did get married. The day of our wedding was kind of a funny story. Readings were forgotten, shoes were forgotten. At the end of the ceremony, we went out front, and as I'm standing on the front steps of the church crying, my mother-in-law looked at me and she said, "Well, you have 30 days to give Mark back. If after those 30 days you do not, you can never." So everybody knows my story. I was with him to the end. months, the night that Mark passed, I had gone home and the true loneliness set in. I am one of 4 kids. I shared a bedroom with my sister. She got married. My younger sister moved in. I got married. Mark moved in. And I went home the night he passed, and I stood in that bedroom all alone, knowing for the first time in my life that I was on my own, and I now had to figure things out to do everything on my own. That, I think, is probably one of the hardest things, because you no longer have that support or that little oomph when you need it to get up over the humps. So those times are the times that's the hardest. So many times something happens to you and the first thing you want to do is you want to run home and tell that husband and say, hey, guess just what happened today? And you can still go home and say it, but it's just not the same. You don't get the hug, you don't get the reassurance, you don't get the support, you know? Those are the toughest times. we were in the hospital, my husband kept telling me, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. The cancer had come back, so he basically had the Hodgkin's twice. And when it came back in October, it came back very aggressive. And he said to me at one point, he was sitting there and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm praying." "What are you praying for?" "I'm praying for peace." And we came to Branford Hospice, and that is where we found our peace.
We brought Ron here. It was on a Tuesday evening, so it was dark, but the next morning was a beautiful, beautiful day. And they opened up the shades and the windows, and I said, "Look, honey, I took you on another cruise." This place is just, I cannot describe, it's just over, I wish people knew more about it, of all the wonderful things that people do here. I call them my guardian angels. And as a result, I was so touched with the love that I received here from my husband, my family, that I have decided to be a volunteer. So now I am fulfilling and honoring my husband. And also, it's just very humbling. It's a beautiful, humbling experience that I can give back to the people here that people gave to us.
Perhaps love is like a resting place, a shelter from the storm. It exists to give you comfort. It is there to keep you warm. And in those times of trouble, when you are most alone, the memory of love will bring you home.
And some say love is holding on, and some say letting go, and some say love is everything, and some say they don't know. Perhaps love is like the ocean,
Full of conflict, full of pain,
like a fire when it's cold outside,
thunder when it rains.
If I should live forever and all my dreams come true,
My memories of love will be of you. My memories of love will be of you.
My wife, Deb, was an intelligent, fun-loving, engaging personality who I was married to for 53 years. We had our challenges, we had our joys. Our joys are our two children, Kirk and Christopher, both of whom I see on a regular basis. Deb was a speech pathologist, and worked at Southern Connecticut State University for over 30 years as a professor there. As she was dying, I can remember one day a student calling her and asking her a question. Deb answered the question, helped her. The student never knew that Deb was terminal with cancer. One of the things I respected of Deb was her ability to empathize with other people, to understand their issues, their concerns, and try to help them work through those. As a college professor who had seen 200-300 students over her career, she was able to connect with most of those students and bring out the best in them, to the point where at her memorial service, I had probably 50 former students on a video Zoom call with her. I'm holding tuppence. as you can see. Tuppen is one of my closest friends now. Tuppen was my wife, Deb's, closest friend. As a matter of fact, Tuppen came to my house because Deb wanted a dog. Deb is no longer with me. Tuppen's always slept in a crate. But after Deb died, she would whine and cry and bark and want out of the crate at night. And I realized that she missed Deb. And the only way she could get comfort was to sleep in bed with me on Deb's pillow, which she has done for the last year.
When I think of my mom, Gertrude Schaefer, I think of a woman who was incredibly strong and resilient and persevered through lots of hardship, even before she became ill. She was from Austria, and so she came here with, she always tells the story, $25, and my father and my brother, and, she made a really wonderful life for herself here in the United States because of that, because of her perseverance. So I was able to be here. I'm a teacher, so they provided me with a room to do my work in and my Zoom classes, and then I was able to come right back to my mom. And until the very final last few days, I was able to do that. And then at some point I just said, I can't teach anymore. I got to take this time now. But they just were here to support her and the family in any way they could possibly do that, besides the medical care. So that was really important. Even in my mom, Gertrude's final moment of life, she suddenly opened her eyes after not having her eyes opened for several days. And I said, "Hi, Mom," and "I'll be right back." That's what I did. And the nurse was right around the corner, and I believe it was Kathy, and she came into the room, and she took her heartbeat, and my mom's eyes were still open. I got a little nervous because when I was leaving, I thought maybe she wouldn't be there when I came back. And Kathy said to me, "Ingrid, she's transitioning." That was a new word for me. I didn't know what that was. But I mean, it made sense, but I just hadn't heard that before. And the next thing I knew, Doula, the aide, was right there. And we had this like triangle where Doula's hand was on my shoulder, and I was holding Doula, and Kathy was holding my mom, and I was holding my mom, and Kathy was holding the shoulder, and it was this perfect triangle. And I said, "Goodbye, Mom. I love you." And she closed her eyes.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed days, the dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow so much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
My husband Tony was born in Sweden, and when I first met him, he read to me Swedish bedtime stories. I fell in love with that. Next thing I knew, we both shared our love for dancing. That's how we met, Cajun Zydeco. And I saw that he wore cowboy boots. But at the same time, he was very well respected at Yale. He was studying brain cancer. They thought he might cure it. And he was slated to win the Nobel Prize at Yale in the world. So there was many facets of him. He was in love with our children, our twins, who are both 12. And it was beautiful to see him become a little boy with them and how playful he was and full of life. I think it never really hit Tony that he was so ill that he would pass, and we kept hope alive. But I think there was a resignation to him finally a few days before he did pass. The staff couldn't have been more kind to help passage, especially for my children. I think that Tony became very vulnerable, and it was a tenderness I'd never experienced with him in our marriage. And it was very loving, and one of the last messages he left me on my answer machine at home was, "I love you." And one last thing he did, which is also very dear, is eat a McDonald's meal that we brought for him and have a shake, sort of showing us that he's still a kid at heart. But he was very loving to us, and we are so grateful to be able to see God through him and through us. Tony went to about 4 different Ivy League schools and put all his energy into trying to solve the cure for cancer. The irony, 18 months prior to his death, that he would be diagnosed with end-stage colon cancer was very difficult for all of us. I think he chose to not believe it and kept fighting and kept pulling himself to go to Yale, to his lab. And even days before he passed, he was still writing papers to try to cure cancer for everyone, and that's very commendable. Of course, you never want to have to be a patient or have a family member at hospice. But I'll tell you what, it was nothing short of spiritual and magical for me. The staff carried me through. Simply put, the staff carried me through. They went out of their way, especially our experience was during COVID. And the minister, the social workers, the director of admission, everybody held my hand in all ways, and it allowed me to have dignity for my husband and for my children, and to not have to be alone. I was terrified when he was at home that I would have to be alone with him as he passed. And the people at hospice are my angels for the rest of my life, and I have never been so grateful for a collection of people in my life.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed days, the dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
name is Ginger Brasher Cunningham. I'm a local clergy person and also a former hospice chaplain. I bring this cup of coffee up here with me today because, like you, the memories that live in my heart are these little moments. My father died just shy of 10 years ago in hospice. Every morning when I was a child at 5 a.m., I'd get up with him and have a cup of coffee. Of course, my coffee was mostly milk. But that kind of thing lives on with me, just like the idea of these flowers. The flowers that go out to the boat represent each one, the names of the people we've listed today, the people that we've seen on the screen, your loved ones, my loved ones, for several of our church members were on there too. Represents their lives that have blossomed in so many ways, and they go out and they continue to bloom for us. They show us love and hope, and they help us remember all that we have. I think that this ground is holy ground, and to walk this journey with someone is certainly powerful. Part of the reason it's so powerful is that we have to love someone with the depths of our spirit to be able to ache so much when they leave. That shows us how much we love and care for those who've gone before us. Now, on this day, I've been asked to offer a closing prayer, a benediction. With my coffee in hand and the flower here, I ask you to remember those special things about your loved ones, to remember the ways their lives have bloomed and will continue to blossom in our hearts. Also recognizing we may come from different traditions, I invite you to meditate and look at the water or pray in a way that is comfortable to you. Let us be together. God of it all, we gather on this spectacular day with lives that have changed us forever. We gather with sorrow, we gather with joy, we gather while we're still aching and maybe have healed a little. But we gather most importantly knowing that those whom we've loved have changed us eternally. We celebrate and we are grateful as they linger about, as we long for them, as we lament, and as we celebrate. In the beauty of this space and in this peaceful home that many have found, help us to go forth, remembering and holding and touching and living all that we've shared. Give us a peace that we can't even understand. Empower us to offer that same peace with others as we walk together, hand in hand, nearby or sitting in quiet, with grace, with hope, and with beginnings and endings and the circles of life. We join together at this time and pray in the name of grace. Amen.
Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly